everyone, my name's Morgan Riegler, and this is my interview assignment. So for this assignment, I decided to interview my mom because she's one of the most influential people in my life, and I grew up with her working, and I wanted to know more about her job and her experience as a woman in the workforce, and kind of how her being a woman has affected her career. So kind of to start off, I just want to ask my mom about some background information, kind of about growing up and her life, and she kind of said, and as far as like work, so growing up, she said her mom and her dad both worked, which was really uncommon at the time. None of her friends' moms worked, so it was a different that her mom had a job. She thought that like maybe having both of her parents working growing up, kind of, she never questioned that she would have a job. She always knew that she would have a career, and she never wanted to not work or even kind of considered that. Both of her parents were very involved union members in their respective unions, and so that also helped shape her as viewing the worker and respecting the rights of the worker, which influences the jobs that she has now, the jobs that she has held throughout her career. So when my mom first graduated college, she was a social worker in the foster care system. And I kind of asked her if being young in this field influenced her, and she kind of said she didn't know if it was her age but like it was a very difficult job to have, and it took a lot of emotional energy, and it was a very tolling job, and she ultimately left this job after only a couple years because she realized that it took all of her energy and that she could not raise a family of her own, and she would not be able to have a family of her own if she kept this job, because she would not have the energy required to be there for her own family and her own kids. So when my mom decided to leave foster care, she began working at the State Bar of Michigan as a character and fitness investigator. So she would look into people who had passed the bar exam to become lawyers and evaluate if their character was fit to be a lawyer. I'm the oldest of 3 children, so when I was born, my mom continued to work, and then my brother was born. She also continued to work. However, after my sister was born, with the cost of childcare and the fact of having 3 young children, she ultimately stopped working for a little while. I asked her if like the fact that she was like our mom, like, and was like the mother, was like impacted why she didn't work rather than why my dad didn't work, and she said she didn't really think that was a factor. She thought it was more of a financial choice or a financial need that my dad kept working, and she could take that time off of work. So then, like, after my siblings and I were of school age, my mom went back to work. She went back to the same job that she left at the state bar. And I kind of asked her if those years off kind of influenced her career in any way, and she said not too much, because she went back to the exact same job she left. However, she felt that like she definitely lost some money by doing that, because she had to start over at like a starting salary again, and she could have had accumulated more rapport and also a higher salary had she not taken those couple of years off to start a family of her own. So eventually my mom left that job, and she had the job that she currently holds now as a wage and hour investigator for the state of Michigan. So she does audits of employers when there's a complaint or concern that they are not paying their employees properly, that they are not giving them the proper benefits, anything like that. And she can like find wages due or find violations of wage and fringe benefit laws. So I asked her about being like a woman in this career and how she felt that impacted her. She said the biggest thing kind of was like she feels that her male coworkers can be more blunt and more upfront and like get the information they need, whereas if she were to do the same things that they do, she would get complaints against her and she wouldn't get the information that she was looking for. Rather, she would face more challenges getting the information, so she feels she has to be more accommodating than her male coworkers. Beyond that, she said like just like one of her biggest pet peeves is when people call her like honey or sweetheart or like stuff like that. terms like that are often applied to women but not men. As far as like management at her work, she said her immediate bosses are both female, which kind of helps to like maintain a environment that is equal to both men and women. However, all of her like farther up, higher up bosses and managers are all men. And like as with a lot of fields, there aren't many women at like high positions of power in her work. Other than that, she said she felt that like her job was pretty fair, and she definitely has friends and has known people who have been mistreated or lost on opportunities more than she has because of their gender. And overall, she thinks that her work environment is pretty fair and equitable as far as it comes to female and male employees having the same treatment. And yeah, so that was my interview with my mom.